Guys, we'll get started. Just say we're just making sure the live stream's up for everybody. So if you guys had anyone that couldn't make the meeting tonight, it's up live, and then we'll post the video as well, so somebody can't watch it right away.
Okay, you ready?
We're good? We're live? Can we kill that, Noah? That music? Huh? Can we turn that off? Okay. All right, good. So we're up. All right, welcome everybody. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Dyer Tappan, President of Arizona Youth Football League. Let me introduce the team. We've got J.C. Lunt here, or Vice. We don't have to get on camera. So most of you that talk to me or J.C. Behind the camera is Jeff Lowry. If you've seen any of our live broadcasts with the play-by-play announcer, it's Jeff and his team at APN Video that do that. Brandon Drake's here from our girls' flag, 7-on-7. Evangeline Cobb from Cheer. And then in the back there is Dee Grayer, who in addition to being the National Football Commissioner for AYF is our local man of all awesome fun things, not related to game day, but all the stuff that I think the kids end up remembering the most. So Cardinal game, ASU game, all the things that we've done with that's Dee's doing there. He'll talk about that stuff, including the golf tournament that we have, which is a great way for teams to plug it in and get some fundraising done there. So that's everybody there. For those of you that haven't seen on the website, the best pages for you, for coaches and org leaders, is the resources page. That's going to have all the documents and everything that we're talking about tonight on it as well. So just to kick things off, I want to go through a quick recap of the fall. We started with around 200 teams. Some teams merged, fell out, call it a season, but 186 made it again to the playoffs and participated in either the playoffs or the bowl games. It's over 1,000 regular season games. The good news is we only had 43 ejections out of all of them, but that's something we got to continue to keep an eye on. As all of you have seen, our parent code of conduct is all over our website. A lot of you've used it in your registration, as well as it's on ours. When players and parents, or parents register their player on NSID, they're going to have to sign that code of conduct that's in there as well. So hopefully we can continue to do great things on that side, because that's the number one reason that we have trouble finding officials, is because they don't want to get berated by parents, coaches, and God forbid some 12-year-old kid on their Saturday. So keep the conduct good, everything else will run pretty smoothly, but that's not a bad ratio. D, is it? We're getting feedback here.
No,
okay.
we're good.
Where am I hearing that from? I hear an echo. Oh, is it playing? Okay, sorry. The other events, these are the fun events I was talking about that Dee led the charge with here. It started with the Rattlers Skill Challenge. That was in June. The ASU Sweet Night, the youth game against Utah, the celebrity golf tournament. The cheer competition was a huge success. That was Evangeline and her team there. You'll hear more about that. Ashanti's here from the Cardinals. She helped us get our first Cardinals tailgate games. Another great event that more people need to take advantage of. The Cardinals have this huge grass area south of the field. And before the game, they opened it up for us for tailgate, for 7-on-7 games. We can add a big man competition. It's a great time that's out at the field. So that was a good game that was there. After the season, the Scholar Baller Banquet. Oh yeah, cheer. We had a cheer. The cheer was out there as well. Well, you guys got to go on the field. I don't want to steal your thunder on that video.
No, for the game on the grass. Our girls were able to perform there.
There was a performance there as well. Very true. The Scholar Baller Banquet, which was both for football players as well as cheerleaders. That was the first time we brought it back in person since COVID, and it was pretty big. I think we had over 100 athletes recognized. But we want to make sure that more people enroll with us. This is any of your players that have a B average or better that want to get recognized for their academic achievements. Made it pretty simple for parents to submit their grades and streamline that process. ASU hosted this nice big banquet on a Sunday for us, and it was outstanding. We had an awesome DJ and MC that was there that did a great job at the Scholar Baller Banquet. And then the season ended up with the All-Stars Combine and Media Night at ASU, and then the Phoenix All-Stars. So for those of you that haven't heard, we had two teams go to nationals, the 13U Suns and the 12U AZ Champs, both finished runner-up. The All-Stars 14U won the national championship, only giving up 1 touchdown the whole time that they were there. And then our 10U and 12U All-Stars both got 3rd place. So that was kind of some of the big events for the fall. Championship Saturday was a success. We did it. Most of our games were in the Tolleson School District, all pretty close to one another. It was a great production. The DJs that were out there, the announcers at every venue, we got the scoreboards working, things like that. That was all good stuff. This is our list of champions in each division that we've got there. This is also on the website under the resources page if anybody wants to see that. Let's see here. Next things next. Moving on to the spring, registration's open. All of the coaching things are back up there again as well. If any of your new coaches need their concussion certificate, the link is on there to get that for free. USA Football is free using that promo code. I just got a message from them today. I don't know if we're changing the promo code for 2025, but that's what it is as of now. If you need huddle for your team, you can email Nick Leonard's our rep and get a discount on that. But all of this stuff is on that page. We want to get going with the schedule by February 15th, so make sure we've got all your team commitments by then, as well as your fields. So if there are any fields that you know that you have access to, be sure to get with me. I'll deal with the districts and the permits and the certificates of insurance and getting them all rolling. But if we've got your teams all set by the 15th, we can make sure we've got that schedule out for the 1st. And then back to officials. Officials is our #1 far and away the largest cost. The demand is high for officiating, and the reason why is because they can charge whatever they want because there's not a lot of them. So the parent, coach, player behavior, we talked about that. We've got to do better in that regard. We like to say to align your expectations. If they're getting it wrong when you're watching a college or pro game, they're going to definitely get it wrong working a 4-man crew at a youth football game. So let's cut them a little slack. And then we're always looking for new officials. So Top Choice has a training program that they'll run towards the end of this month and throughout the season. New officials get to shadow existing officials. And a lot of the officials we get out there are high school guys, pro guys, retired officials from both the NFL and NCAA. So if you've got players that are looking for, they've aged out of the game, they're looking for ways to get back in, coaches that are looking for something to do, we strongly suggest they look into officiating. The 2 big updates on the website. There we go. Thanks. Is the coaches post-game report. That was new that we added in the fall, which was great. So coaches, if there's anything in particular that you want to report, that goes to all of us as well as the competition committee in there as well. But the one that's preseason is the team intake form. And so what that is tell us what division your team's like. What's your team's experience like? How do we schedule you at first to find the right games for your team? Also in there is your bye week. Spring is also difficult for byes because we've got Easter and spring break. And everybody's spring breaks are different. Some teams want the beginning or the end of the break. So make sure that you schedule that accordingly if you're a spring team. In the spring, starting March 1st, we have 1 week for a bye until the playoffs, so think of it that way. So kind of use your bye wisely. If you've got to take 2, then so be it. But just let us know right away on the intake form. Text messages. Most of you that are here probably are getting the org leader text message. If you don't get it and you're supposed to be, then just send a text to this number with the word org leader. And again, you can also text the word coach for coaches and parent for parents to get on those lists as a coach or parent. Again, I'll put all of these slides on the resources page as well, so you guys don't have to worry about taking notes and stuff like that.
What's a post-game report again?
So the post-game report is for coaches to fill out afterwards, and I can actually bring one up here.
That's after the game or before?
Yep, after the game. So on the resources page, you'll see. So like right here is your preseason intake form. So this is where you put in your team information, and your bye week and stuff like that. And then right here, the coach's post-game report is here. So if it was, any information you want to put in here about the game, good or bad. I'm going to tell you that probably 2 out of 3 of these things that we were getting were positive. It was coaches saying, hey, that other team was prepared, we like them, we'd like to see them in the playoffs, that team is our speed, the officiating was good, the site director was above and beyond. So it's not just for complaints, so anything you've got. If there's something that, if it is regarding a rule clarification, if you've got video, that's always going to make it better. You can throw a link to that in there as well. And I think you can, because it's a Google form, I think you can attach something from Google Drive in there as well. So that's in there. So that's post game. And then, so that's not what I wanted. All right, so here. NSID rosters. So as you guys know, we use National Sports ID for player identification as well as our registration. When you have a game day roster, this is what it should look like. And here are the 4 things that you're really looking for. First, that it's verified in green at the top here. That it's of the current year, right? So for instance, this is just a sample. But right now for the spring is a continuation of fall. It'll say 7/31/24. So this football year runs like the school calendar year. Also here it says tournament. They also use the word league, but that's where you'll see that the team is attached to the league. So quite often, your question may be, oh, why is my roster showing up? It's because it's got to be attached. That's what that means. And then last but not least, at the bottom is the print date. Whether it's print or electronic, that's where it's going to appear. So the expectation at check-in at every game is that you've got your roster, your opponent has theirs, and also the site director has it on their phone. So if there's any clarification that's needed, that's always there. But if you're looking at somebody else's roster, those are the things that you're looking for. All that said, last year we processed over 8,000 player IDs. There was only one instance of one being wrong. So I know that your parents in the stands love to talk about, oh, that's so-and-so's brother, and that's a fake ID, and blah, 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 and there's all this cheating. I'm gonna let you know it just doesn't happen. It's really fun, it's really easy. It's an easy excuse after somebody beat your team, but it just doesn't happen. And we make sure that it doesn't happen through these things right here. So, most of the time, like I said, it's just conjecture, but it kind of is what it is. We go through painstaking lengths to make sure that the rosters and IDs are correct. So that's about it. Springfields for the Springfield teams that are in the room. We've got a map for all of our field allocations. We can share that with you as well. The way that we make the schedule with the fields is that we want to make sure everybody that has fields has the opportunity to host. But then with that, the factors that go in are teams that want to travel together, and then those fields being close to one another, as well as getting organizations that match up well. So it's not always perfect, but the intake form will help with that, especially in the beginning, before we kind of learn who's who. So the sooner that you can get with us on fields, that's good. The email to get us for anything fields schedule related is just schedule@arizonaYFL.com. That or info will get to all of us. Also in the room with us is Michael Petrusik in the back, one of our interns. You may have seen him at the fields. Rebecca Porter works in our office right here. So all of us get those emails. So if there's anything that needs to be changed or otherwise with the schedule, we hate changes more than you do. We never want to change a schedule. We don't do it for fun. A lot of work goes into it ahead of time. But when stuff happens, like a water pipe breaking at a field, that's the team that's on it here. So with that, it's kind of my kickoff stuff. I'm going to turn it over to JC.
All right. Hey guys, I'm JC, Vice President of Arizona Youth Football League. If anything goes wrong, it's not Darren's fault, it's my fault. So I'm just kidding. Update the local rules. We'll talk about this in just a second along with the competition committee because it's on the next slide. But I want to talk a little bit about the state playoff format. So what we did, like Darren said, with the games, we're trying to form games that are the most competitive, that make sense in regards to distance. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. With that, though, too, is the actual playoff format. And so what we want to do is get everybody into a Division I, Division II, or Division III, depending on the size of the division. Now, this last fall, in 11 and 12 and 13, we had enough teams to have 3 divisions. What that also meant is there was a number of teams that were left out completely from the playoffs because we had more than 24 teams in those divisions. But what we'll do is we'll organize them as the season goes along, and then when the playoffs hit, you'll see, hey, did I make D1, D2, or D3? Now, it's not just a JC or a Dyron or a Rebecca or a Michael or a Brandon decision. We are actually going to be using PowerPoints. Okay? The way the PowerPoints work, it goes off of opponents win, or your wins, opponents' wins, and opponents' wins. Now, this last fall, Darren can talk to this a little bit more again later. There was a lot that went into this with PowerPoints. Not only that, we used that good old Chat GPT. Guys, that it was unbelievable, some of the stuff that it spit out at us and said, hey, this is because of this and this is because of that. So it wasn't just, hey, we're going to decide based on record, this team's going to be a D1 and this one's going to be a D2. You know, if we had questions as we went along, we asked ChatGPT, hey, these are the matchups, these are the records, this is what happened, what does it say? And so we were pretty accurate in placement of those divisions. Smaller divisions, if they only have 8 teams, there'll be a D1 playoff. If there's 12 teams, we might split it up and do 6 and 6 to make it make sense. So there'll be 2 divisions in that case. But for the spring so far, it's looking like there's going to be several divisions that will have D1, D2, and D3 come playoffs. Anybody that doesn't make those playoffs, we do a bowl series. So in the fall, what we did is we did a number of bowl series, and there was actually a trophy that was awarded to the team that won that bowl series. Mailing sideline badges. So what we've done the last 2 seasons is we give you badges. I believe it was 11, 10 staff, 1 head coach, and it helps you guys out as coaches to get everybody off your sideline. Yeah, we like to have our games hosted in stadiums. Don't like them on back practice fields or anything like that. So as you guys know that were with us the last 2 seasons, both spring and fall, we have them on high school fields, ideally. If we have to move it, this last season we moved it to Christina at Mountain View. Was awesome. We got to move some games to the practice field at Mountain View, which is just as nice as the main field, but there's not stands. So, but we like to host those games on stadium fields. So with that, the sideline badges help you as coaches, team moms, business managers, to keep your parents off the field and up in the stands. And we have site directors that do their job. They're sticklers. If there's some kids throwing a football around on the sideline, they should be up in the stands. Guess what? They get kicked off the field. It's not perfect. There are some site directors that were coaching a little bit, but definitely having that badge displayed tells the referees, green, okay, you're the head coach. There's 1. All the blue, you're a staff member. And cheer this last fall we did in pink, which was pretty cool. So again, those will be given to the orgs and the teams, the divisions. But we're going to mail them. Last year we tried to meet people here and there and hand off here and hand off there, but we're probably going to do mail in to the org leaders. You know, so if you have four divisions, you would get 40 badges, staff, 4 head coaches, and probably a 5th one for the actual org leader. So if you guys want to go out to the fields and check things out, you have one too. And I got yelled at last year because I didn't have my badge on and the site director didn't know who I was. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, okay, I'll get off the field. So anyway, it was refreshing to know that they're doing their job. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but it does help us out a ton to keep the parents off your back, allow a certain amount of people out on the field. A question might come up, chain gang. You're the visiting team, you have chain gang. They're not required to have a badge. So you'd call them up out of the stands, those 3 would be the chain gang. They're not part of your 11 badges that you would receive. So again, you'll get 10 for staff. If you want to have 5 water boys with those, if you want. But you know, team mom, maybe you have a statistician, maybe you have somebody recording, maybe you have, you know, I don't know, a nurse mom that's out there, I don't know. But you guys allocate those how you see fit, but that's what you'll get. And again, we'll get those mailed out to org leaders. Some of the new orgs, it's exciting. Payson has joined us for the spring. We're super excited for them. This last year, we had a couple of orgs from Flagstaff. We had a couple of orgs from Prescott, which was super cool to face some of that competition. And they had some teams that were really, really good. So it was exciting to play out of town. I know, you know, like the 3A, the 4A for high school, there are a lot of Valley teams that do play Prescott, play Bradshaw Mountain, play Coconino, play Payson. So it is kind of fun to play some of those out of town teams. Yuma, I had a really good conversation with Yuma. Yuma used to be with AYF a long time ago, but I had a great talk with them, and they're bringing over a bunch of teams, and there's a possibility that they'll bring some of the River Valley teams back to AYF. So we will have a Yuma group too, which I think they're going to have 4 or 5 teams as it is right now, but maybe more if River Valley comes over. We have the AZ Vikings out of the West Valley. They're going to have 8U through 12U, I believe. We have the AZ Demons. And the Vikings, they're going to probably be more of a fall group. AZ Demons are going to be spring. El Mirage Junior Demons are going to be spring. Tempe Trailblazers, they're going to be the spring. AZ Sun Devils, fall. Bird Gang, spring. Team Impact, spring. Tucson Pitbulls, spring. And then the AZ Rattlers, I believe they'll be spring too. They'll be fall as well, but some of those groups aren't joining us till the fall. Some of them are doing spring and fall. So it's super exciting, guys. We're growing. We did fantastic last year. Like Darren said, 8,000 kids that ran through the program. So I feel very blessed, and it's hard work of you guys as org leaders and coaches to help push that along. And so it's refreshing to know we're growing. Heck, we might have more of Arizona. I know some people I don't like to travel. I personally love it. We went up to Prescott as an org, both in the spring and the fall. It was a super cool experience. Bradshaw Mountain, where they hosted, was super awesome. And we had a good time. We had teams that were begging, I want to go to Flagstaff, especially in August when it's super hot, September when it's super hot. So like Darren mentioned, we have that team intake form. That's some notes that you can put on it for more of the fall time. If you're like, hey, I want to take my entire org to Flag or my entire org to Prescott, those are things that we can arrange, especially in that August, September time frame. All right, let's go to the next page.
You got it.
Perfect. All right, competition committee. Guys, this is super cool. We formed this last year. Kind of the reason why is I like consistency. I like rules. I like accountability. Right? And through the years, there's been maybe some accountability, maybe some rules that were set as rules, but there was no follow through. So, Darren and I talked and we thought, hey, it's going to be super valuable if we have a competition committee. So what this competition committee it's a group of org leaders, along with Darren and myself, where we go over tough rules. We go over ejections. We watch video. We have discussion. And trust you me, we did have those. Lots of them. Some coaches are like, I'm going to send this in or send this video, but it's not going to be watched. It's going to fall on deaf ears. No, we literally looked at everything. We spent hours and hours and hours talking on Sundays, on Mondays. Darren and I talk every day, so it's like more like a marriage, I guess, that we're in. But we literally talk every day about a number of different things. So for our 2025 competition committee, it's going to consist of these guys here on the right-hand side. We have Nick Offenberger from Future U. We have Jose from Maricopa Rampage. We have Kale, who's taking over for Tom up at O'Connor. Savvy's coming back from Peoria. We have good John Plexkovich. He's from Phoenix Storm. He's been around AYF for a super long time, so we're happy to have him. We have representation from Prescott Valley, and that's Kelly. Maybe Nick will help out with that too. I know they kind of run that group up there together. And then we have, for Verado, we have Ken and Rob, who are eligible for 1 vote. 2 guys, 1 vote. And then we have the Spartans, 2 guys, 1 vote in Brent and Dan. So it's an odd even number of guys. It's 9. That way if we have to vote on something, it's an odd number. Some of the things that we're going to review are the 2024 rules from fall. Our rules are posted on the website. So if you have a coach, hey, what's the 6U through 9U special rules? I don't know those. They're on the website. But we're going to go through and review those. There might be some changes that we're going to discuss. But we're going to be meeting here in January to discuss those rules. So if you guys as org leaders or coaches, you can chain of command, send things through your org leader. If there are rules that you want us to review, or like, hey, why is this and it should be this, guys, we're open to take a look at it and discuss it as a competition committee. Some of the things, roster rules, dual rostering, exempt roster, minimum games played to be in the playoffs. Those are some of the things. One thing we're going to talk about is 8th grade. Do we have a 13U and a 14U in the spring, or do we just call it 8th grade? So again, those are things that we're going to discuss. It won't be a JC decision. It won't be a diary decision. It'll be a competition committee decision that we'll do together. It's unique with the competition committee too. The way I wanted it represented is I wanted people from all over. I didn't want just east side or west side or north. So we have a little bit of everything. You know, we have down to Maricopa, we have out west all the way to Verrado, which I guess is Buckeye or close to, all the way north to Prescott, all the way east to Mesa. So tried to be strategic as possible with that. Yeah, and we'll talk about playoff format. We'll talk about PowerPoints again, but those are some of the topics that will be coming up. If there's something that you guys want us to discuss in our January meeting, please send those through chain of command, because I know we have some coaches in here and org leaders. Send them to your org leaders. Org leaders can get them to us, and we will definitely review those things. All right, back to you.
See if you have another slide.
Do I have? I don't know. I don't think so.
There we go. No, there we go. Let me introduce Brandon Drake, who's driving the bus for the girls 7-on-7 here. This is the spot for the camera.
Spot.
Good luck.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, Brandon, Commissioner, Girls Flag. Nice to meet you all again. Saw some of you guys fall last season when we were trying to ramp up the program. We're at the point now where we've got a lot of support from the community. I want to cover some things to help us get kicked off for our season, which starts on March 16th. For a quick overview for you guys who didn't catch it during the last meeting, our program offers a 7-versus-7 high school style girls flag program, right? A lot of leagues out there are going to be 5-versus-5. They don't follow AIA rules, and that is the focus of AZYFL's girl flag program, to get these girls ready for that next level, to get to high school, right? So they'll play in this league with similar rules as high school football, same field dimensions, same game format. They'll kick field goals, they'll punt the ball, and then also we'll have similar teams. What that means is for you tackle organizations, you act as a feeder program for those high schools, right? So now you have an opportunity to get involved into that high school program a little bit more. Instead of just feeding the boys to the tackle program at high school level, now you can potentially feed a girls program as well and really help build the brand of your feeder program, which obviously, as you know, helping build the brand means you can then potentially grow to the point where you operate at a higher level, you're more appealing to other kids in your community as well. Start date for this league is March 16th. That is a Sunday, and we pick Sundays for a reason. One is, again, these games are going to be played in high school football stadiums. So Sunday is really the day that we have a chance to get on that field and not have any obstructions. Also, the divisions, we're looking at having JV, 14U, 12U, 10U. We have interest from a couple of you guys in this room, some outside this room that are on camera right now, but we have the opportunity to fill all these divisions across the valley. And it's something that I'm very excited about. I can tell you right now, like, if you're even kicking around the idea of a girls program, this is the time to do it, okay? And if you're not, you really need to be talking to the parents on your team, because those parents are wanting this. Every day this week, after we put out some marketing material to our Instagram, I've had parents reach out to us on the daily asking about, do you have a girl that you place in this school, O'Connor, as well as Mesa, as well as Queen Creek? And so I'm getting all these questions about, hey, do you have a team for my girl? And this is where, of course, you guys come in as an organization. So we'll definitely be having conversations as they come up. Okay, we have some players looking for a school, and this is the organization they need to talk to. Did I see a question?
Yeah. If you guys are posting on your socials that are specific to the girls teams, are you tagging the organizations that are prepping to have teams in those so that we're helping with that, getting more exposure?
Yep, that is our marketing strategy, just like the tackle site does as well. Okay. Michael is a big part of helping with that as well. So as we add those teams and get them officially registered, we will be adding them to the Instagram post, tagging as well.
I've seen Pete do a few of them, but I hadn't seen a whole lot come across our Instagram, so I just was checking to see if you guys were playing on them.
Sure thing. And what organization are you with?
I'm with the Outlaws.
Gotcha, okay, good. Yeah, we'll definitely be talking, so we will tag you guys as you come along. Yep. The organizations, we talked about what the benefit to you guys. We want to make sure that if you guys have questions as an organization, like why does this benefit our girls? You know, we're talking about your boys play tackle, they all have sisters, right? And those sisters that join the team, that their brothers may not play yet, then they can join your tackle team. So it really is just, you know, helping out both angles, both tackle and flag. What we can do as an organization, so as commissioner, Pete's not here tonight, he's the co-commissioner as well, but we can help with free agent placement, as I talked about before. Anytime we get these inquiries, we're looking to refer them out to their local organization. We also want to coordinate with your high school coaches and ADs. We don't want to have you be the one to have a conversation with your ADs and your coaches. We'll be happy to take on those conversations, reach out to the AD, the coaches at that level, and make sure that they're on board with us too, right? And making sure that we can get their sign off to be able to have games on their field. Lastly, we will more than happy come out to your fields, wherever that is. It's a practice field, city park, doesn't matter what. We're more than happy to run tryouts for you guys too, right? To help bring some of our staff. We have connections, we can bring potential timing gates, things like that. We want to make sure that we are here to support you in every way possible. So if you're even on the fence, you're like, yeah, I have one or two girls, really the best opportunity is to get them involved, you know, have a team tryout. We can come in and help run that, make sure you guys get the most out of that as possible. Lastly, as an organization, AZYFL is having a combine. This is coming up January 26th from 12 to 3 p.m. at the ASU Banfield, so it is a wonderful, wonderful venue. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a turf field. It's actually painted with the ASU pitchfork in the middle field. It's a beautiful place. We will have laser timing out there for a 40-yard dash, L drill, 5-10-5 drill as well. We will test vertical jump, broad jump, and this is a great opportunity for any girls that may be sisters or potentially some of you guys have teams already. Bring them out to this, get their measurements, get them some skill development as well. Try to find out who on your team is somebody you want to build that team around. Now, for this event, it is open to the general public. So we promoted this across multiple channels, emails, texts, social media, things like that. And there are some free agents that are signed up. Now with that, again, goes back to we need to have a place to funnel them to. So this is a good opportunity if you're an organization kicking around the idea of doing a girls flag, come out to this event so we can make those connections for you. We will, of course, AZYFL will be headlining this event, but we will have Michael Westbrook, who's a former Washington Redskins first-round pick in 1995, 1994 NCAA Receiver of the Year. He'll be out there training wide receivers. We'll have Nick Davia from the Arizona Rattlers, quarterback, four-time arena football champion, plus three-time MVP. He'll coach the quarterbacks. We'll also have the speed syndicate out there who will help with all the laser timing drills. Good opportunity, for you to get to girls out here. It is $20, January 26th, and ages 10U through high school. Lastly, my contact information as well as Pete's. So if you guys want to take a photo of this, you can contact us directly. Those are our cell phone numbers. Girls flag at ArizonaYFL.com is our email. And then our website, ArizonaYFL.com/girls flag. That is where you can get information about the league, but registration's on there. Also, the sign up for the combine I just talked about is on there as well. Team discounts for registration, it is now open, as well as early bird pricing for single player registrations, which ends January 31st. That's the spacebar button. Darren, you're up. That's the arrow. Okay. My laptop's a spacebar.
You're speaking PowerPoint. All right, now I want to bring up Evangeline Cobb, our president of Cheer.
Woo!
Cheer
Just
for
one
Cheer.
person. Right? Yeah.
Do you want to start with this?
We can, yeah.
Okay.
Want to give background what this is?
So, you want to give it? Okay.
You're good.
So, correct me where I'm wrong, right? But the Cheer, this is your Cheer All-Star group
Yes.
that was invited out to the Cardinals game. This was the last regular season game of the year, right, against San Francisco. And then also here at the beginning of the video, you'll see in the far part of the end zone, the AYF All-Star teams were also recognized. So you guys got to perform with teams from not only Arizona, but also Hawaii, is what I heard.
Yes, and we were the only youth program out there.
And so these other girls out there are all high school?
High school, all-stars. gyms, stuff like that, yeah. Those are the boys.
Eventually, which line is our girls? 30?
This area right
Like
here.
here?
About tall enough. That area, yeah.
The
between
25?
25 and 30.
Right here?
Cardinals fans, please stay seated and enjoy this amazing halftime performance from your Arizona Cardinals cheerleaders, Cards Lab Crew, and your 500 all-star cheerleaders and dancers from Arizona and Hawaii. Let's watch them fire it up.
So at this point in the video, they're in sections. So you have your entry level cheer, the ones that wanted to do something that was easier. Then you have your, what is it? The expert level, yeah, intermediate and then the expert level, which my girls all chose to do the expert level.
That's where we lose the video.
Yeah, it was a lot longer.
Pretty cool.
That's cool.
Great job, Cheer. Way to get out there.
Yeah.
Do you have to come up here? Yes, because we need you on camera.
And then my
But I will give, Evangeline's pitch is this: if your organization doesn't have cheer, they have to have cheer.
Exactly,
What's football without cheerleaders? You know, that's pretty much what you're going to say, right?
pretty much.
If you, back just like with the girls' flag, if your organization just wants to get involved and needs guidance, this is your person. So there you go.
So I know I had a lot of people come up to me at the Scholar Baller Banquet who were asking about cheer and how to start cheer. You can start a cheer program with just a mom that's interested. You might have a mom that cheered in high school and hasn't done it for 20 years, but when she hits the field, she'll know what she's doing. I am huge behind cheer. I do own the football organization side of it as well, but cheer is my backbone to my team. There's times where we get more sponsorships because of our cheer team, because they want to see the girls go out there and do stuff. My girls do fundraisers, they're in cheer uniforms. They're making more money than my football players are as far as sponsorships and stuff like that. So they're a great asset to the team. They are very competitive, very, very competitive. You guys, anybody can build a cheer program, and I'd love to see more of the football teams out here. I host a cheer competition every spring, every fall, and every year it's going up little by little. First year we started with 7 teams, then we went up to 10. Last season I believe we were at 13 teams. So it's growing. JC took the idea back to his organization. They now have a cheer team who came out and compete, and they're amazing. There's nothing better than going to a game in a whole nother city. I live way out in Maricopa, and one of the little girls coming up and giving me a big hug and thank you for my medal at competition, and you know, just seeing that the kids are loving it and that they're wanting to do it. So I'm huge with cheer. I do have to give a couple of shout outs. Dee Grayer, you have been my backbone through starting this cheer program and making it run with Arizona Youth Cheer League. I know I call you for some of the dumbest things and you always answer my questions, but you have been huge with us, and I appreciate everything you do, not just on the football side, but on the cheer side as well. Real quick with Ashanti, if you could come up. Ashanti, for those of you guys who don't know, she works with the Cardinals. And every opportunity that we've had with the Arizona Cardinals has come through Dee and through Ashanti. And so we just wanted to say thank you for giving us those opportunities. You have changed the lives of some of our cheerleaders, and I am forever grateful to you. Thank you so much.
For your unwavering support of the Maricopa Pumas and the Lady Pumas program and all the lifetime memories you helped create. Thank you so much. for
Thank
everything.
you. Thank you, so kind.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, my girls love Ashanti. They love showing up to the Cardinals games. They love being, even when they performed outside on the Great Lawn, they talk about that. And that's an experience I would love to see more of every team having. Because when she invites me out, being cheer commissioner for Arizona Youth Cheer League, it's let's get some of these other teams out here and let's get them more involved. I had the pleasure of taking the, what team is Jill with? Renegades?
Yes.
Taking Jill with us to regionals, and they went home with the regional trophy for second place. So it's amazing to see the girls come from only doing sideline cheer to going to regionals. My group this was their very first regional competition. They went in, they took first at regionals. They are on their way to nationals in Las Vegas in May, and they will be competing in Vegas representing Arizona as well. So, like I said, I would love to get more of you guys' teams to get cheer teams, and let's take them all out there because they can all do the same thing that my group is doing. So, that's it. I don't do the public speaking either, so, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
That was awesome. One more time for Evangeline. Nice job, thank you. Next, I want to bring up Dee Grayer. As I introduced Dee earlier, he's not only an outstanding, local volunteer resource for us, he's the National Football Commissioner for AYF. So he was there on the ground in Florida watching all of our teams compete against those teams from all over the country. But Dee's list of events, they're all open for everybody to take advantage of. And I don't want to steal your thunder, I'll let you talk about them, but it'll be great to have more teams tap into all of these things. So I'll let you go down the list. Let me know if there's anything you need.
Okay.
That's on here. This is your
Just
spot.
wanna talk about you guys. On the side, on the side.
Yeah.
Y'all doing tonight, man? Appreciate y'all coming out. This is good. First of all, I want to give a shout out to these guys, Dyron and JC. Give them a big round of applause because we didn't know what was happening last year with everything that happened. And one thing they do, they say they're going to do something, they do it. That's big in youth sports. Being a national football commissioner, I see everything around the country. You guys are a first-class organization where you guys are running it. Everything you said you were going to do last year in the meeting at La Quinta, I believe it was, over in Scottsdale. A lot of you guys were there. Didn't know what was going on, right? Even Evangeline with cheer, she was there saying, hey, look, we're going to make this thing happen. And I think this season was awesome. Just the events that we did, the fact that you guys embraced the events, understanding that it's not just about football or just about cheer, but the memories that the kids are making and the families are making. So you can hear from Evangeline and a lot of everybody that's out there that did it. There's teams from Prescott coming out, what's that, all the way close to California. Tonopah, getting out there all the way to Maricopa. So everybody is dedicated. You guys are here because you guys love the sport, you guys love giving back, and you love getting kids ready for the next level. Everybody's not going to go to the NFL or whatever, but they're going to be Sun Devil fans, Cardinal fans, Rattler fans, college students, parents, kids, having kids, etc. So that's what it's all about, and I appreciate everything you guys do. So I really do. Cheer and girls flag, taking girls flag to the next level. That combine, you guys got to get the girls out there, spread the word. Mm-hmm. That's fat, man.
Oh yeah.
That's big, and and our partners that we have that we work with, Cardinals, and with Ashanti, Dwayne with ASU, Adam with the Rattlers, Connor with the Suns. It's just a community, a family deal. So that's why that event calendar is crazy. If you ever looked at the event calendar, he wrote it down, it's nuts. But everybody, with all the teams that you guys have in the league and everything that you guys got going, everybody's not going to do every event, but it's something for everybody, right? So the calendar will come out. Spring is going to be crazy as well, so I know there's more teams coming in. These guys basically do everything they say they're going to do. I can go in, I can answer some questions on some of the events, but they're going to come out to you. Cascade that information down. Because sometimes we do an event where it's 7-on-7 and we see some people from other teams come and they're like, I didn't know about this. We want you guys to know about it. So cascade that information down to your families, get it going, because a 7-on-7 event is only a limited number of teams that can do it. You know, we want to sell it out, fill it up. Like teams are tailgating, teams are interacting with each other out there at the Cardinals deal. The game night, the kids get to do the flag before the game. They got to do the halftime tunnel with ASU, and that was a Friday night game against Utah, and it was awesome. So the Rattlers Combine. So you know, scholar baller is very important. We want to recognize, you know, ultimately the scholar athlete is what every kid is. Football, cheer, girls flag. They're scholar athletes. We're getting them ready. So anybody with a 3.0 and above, it's a 70% by the way we do the calculations. And Dyron was awesome by creating a document, creating an online form for everybody to take their report card and be able to decipher it and upload it rather than everybody collecting it. So we'll get that information out. But that was an awesome document that was able to get there. If you saw the videos, JC and Dyron hosted it at ASU. They hosted the event at the Desert Park Arboretum at Sun Devil Plaza, right next to Desert Financial Arena, and it was a good deal. A lot of families got great memories. Texas Roadhouse was great, provided food. And the golf tournament this year, we don't know what the location, kind of finalizing it, working with ASU. We're thinking Papago, October 10th, Friday. Papago Golf Course, that's the ASU official golf course, so we're finalizing with the team there to try to knock it out. But that's a great opportunity for fundraising for your teams, as Dyron mentioned earlier. So there's packages, you got to sell T-signs, unlimited, so it'll be something that we'll get to you in advance, so you guys can sell those things, and a large percentage of anything that you may sell to your partners and sponsors, you guys get a big piece of it, because that sponsorship is something you guys can utilize to get more. So it's not just, hey, it's not 24 players, you know, or 12 cheerleaders, it's the entire league. And I think you have 5,000 plus families in this organization, and it's continuing to grow. So onward to 10,000. So, and you get the piece of AYF National and everything. Well, you know, AYF National. So not only I'm National Football Commissioner, you know, it was great at nationals and doing everything at the national level, but the fact that you guys allow me to, you know, be a part of this with you guys locally, you know, it's all about my local work and my give back to the game that gave to me. So I appreciate it. Anytime you guys want to talk about events, I'm here. So that's it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
And Jeff Lowry, he's the best.
Yeah.
You like that, man.
I'll give you that 20 later.
Yeah. So then real quick, this is also on the resources page, it's still there. But this was just the events from last June on all things that we're going to replicate again this year. I'd also be remiss considering we're in the Fiesta Bowl Museum, not to mention the Fiesta Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl Committee, as well as the Rate Bowl. There's an opportunity for our tickets, our families to buy tickets at less than half price to go to the Rate Bowl. They also want to recognize more teams there. For those of you guys that don't know, that's the second bowl game that we have. It used to be the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, it was the Insight Bowl before that. But this was an awesome game this year. Rutgers got out to a lead, but K-State came back on them, and it was an exciting game. If you weren't rooting for Rutgers, watch them blow a lead. But that was a great game. That's going to be, like our game. We're going to do more and more with the committee and the ticket sales department to get more youth players out there. They want that to be the game where they can really feature the youth. As you can imagine, with the Fiesta Bowl and the college football playoff, there's a little bit less flexibility with things they can do on tickets and allocations to the teams that are coming out, being part of the playoff. But the Rate Bowl is going to be like Arizona's game. And I was completely surprised at how well they could turn a baseball stadium into a football field. It was an impressive venue. So picking up what Dee was talking about, these events that we're talking about, it's not a lot of extra work for you as organization leaders just to put things on. For instance, he was talking about the Scholar Baller Banquet. As a former org leader, I know all too well, if I had to collect 200 report cards and type them all into a system, I'd never want to do it, right? So we made it completely user-friendly that the parents can do it themselves. So the portal's, really simple to use. So everything that we want to to do. We want to make it like less work on everybody. We understand that you guys are out there volunteering your time, you're working with your teams. We want to make things as easy as possible. So if there's anything else that we can make easier, let me know. Another thing, picking up with what Dee was talking about with the Nationals and the All-Star program, we want to make sure all your parents know that every player that participates in the fall season is eligible for All-Stars. They're welcome to come to an All-Star tryout. Those teams have been very successful historically. Like, as I mentioned, all the teams that we were there, they placed, right? So we had, third place and then a national champion on 14U. And that 14U group, there's some kids that can come back, but like it's grown over these years. And like, how many kids tried out for All-Stars? Was it 300 or 400 that we get out this year? Right? That sounds like a lot, but when we've got 5,000 players in the fall, right? It's not even 10%. So that's still another opportunity for your teams to get out there and for your guys to find, more ball. If for nothing else, just to get more work with the All-Star tryout. So, with that, I want to say thank you to you guys. I want to see if there's anything else that's good stuff in here. This is an old slide, but I'm sure we'll have a game day experience at the Cardinals again real soon, because that was a hit. So to-dos from here, we're going to send you this replay video, an updated org leader directory. For those of you that didn't see it on the way in, the directory is right out here. Let us know if anybody that's left your org, if the contact info is correct. If it's not on that directory, just write it on the legal pad. For those of you streaming at home, you can just email us, schedule@arizonaYFL.com. We're going to update that. So it's an org leader directory that we'll send to all the people that have designated themselves as org leaders, so you guys can communicate with one another. Simple things, hey, what uniform you're wearing next week? Do you want to scrimmage in the off season? Or even things like, hey, we've only got 6-year-olds. How many do you have? Maybe we combine teams and stuff like that. That's how a lot of our organizations really get to know each other. So we want you guys to have that community and camaraderie amongst teams. Send us your age groups, both for, if you're, most importantly for the spring, but also for the fall. Get your teams registered, and then kind of the save the dates that we've got coming up from here. So on the 15th, we'd like to have all of the team commitments. On the 16th, we're having a coaches meeting at Shields. We're still working on the agenda there. And that'll be for coaches. It'll be a little bit of clinic stuff, but more directed towards the youth stuff. And then also the next week at Shields and Chandler, we're going to have our media day for our spring football teams. And so details are coming together with that as far as photographers. And Shields, if you guys haven't been there, it's an outstanding, incredible store that's, even if you live nowhere near Chandler, it's worth the drive to go see. But they've opened up their meeting space for us to take part in some of those events there. And they've been a great sponsor so far. So that's kind of it here. JC?
One other thing. Yeah, I just want to add one other thing. Dyer mentioned earlier, but the guy behind the camera right here, Jeff Lowry, he's been fantastic, guys. If you saw any of our games of the week, he's responsible for how awesome they were. We also had him stream one of our championship locations on a Saturday. So if you as an org, contact Jeff if there's something you want him to do personally for you and your org of filming games or whatnot. Not only does he stream them live, but he also has a commentator. If you haven't heard him, he's professional. I love listening to his voice. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure we didn't leave tonight, Jeff, without recognizing you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all you do for Arizona Youth Football League. You do a fantastic job. So thank you.
Yep. Appreciate it.
All right. Any questions?
Yeah, we'll take questions. Any questions?
Will you repeat the question? Because I think we're having a little trouble.
Yeah.
Because I've got it pointed towards you, so just kind of do a quick recap.
Perfect. Happy to do it. Yeah, and again, back to Jeff's videos, if you haven't seen them, if anybody's had to suffer through an NFHS video watching a high school game like I have, that's like watching security footage. Jeff's productions are like watching it's like watching NFL. We're talking about multiple cameras, replays, the commentary is outstanding. It's awesome. So go check that out.
And Eric Anderson called the games for you guys. I think I did one game, but and he's got a lot of experience. And
does a great job.
He does a great job.
Oh, yeah.
He really does. Thank you.
You bet. All right, guys, what questions do you have?
I have a quick question. For our organizations, I know I get a lot of cheer coaches that when it comes close to competition time or have questions with cheer, I'll ask them, were you able to make it to the coaches meeting? Because when they're doing the football coaches meeting, I host a cheer coaches meeting with the stuff clinic, stuff like that for our cheerleaders. and they say, no, we didn't know about it. So org leaders, if you have cheer coaches or cheer commissioners within your organization, please send in their information so I can get them that stuff as well. I had last season one team reach out to me and ask if they were able to compete because they knew nothing about it, and it was like a week before competition. So I had to go back in and reprint books and all that, what are they called? Programs. The programs and stuff like that, because we were missing one team, and it wasn't the coach's fault. We didn't have her information, so we couldn't reach out to her, and her org leader was not passing the information on. So please make sure if you're an org leader that you're giving that information to your coaches, or you pass their information on to us. We can make sure they get everything they need for competition and stuff like that.
So for those on the stream, the comment was to disseminate information for your cheer groups for competition and things like that, because there was a lot of cheer groups that didn't know the information, what was being shared. So org leaders, please share that cheer information with the cheer groups.
Yep. And if you ever have a question about communication, this is the easiest thing to do. That's our cell phone numbers for me and JC, but email info@, we'll get you to the right people. You can call or text the office line as well. We'll get you in touch with the right people. The website, of course. Our emails are pretty simple. Cheer is cheer. Girls flag is girls flag. Things like that. So we're happy to get you in the right spots.
Did you want to bring up Michael and Rebecca just face with me?
Yeah, we introduced Michael and Rebecca earlier, but we want to get on camera so everybody at home can see them. So Michael, come on up, just so you guys see him out the field. So we have our staff not just behind the scenes like Rebecca, it's right here. Rebecca, say hi to people at home.
Hello.
Right. But also, Michael leads our team of interns from ASU that are out at the fields. You'll see them going around in one of our shirts. They're just trying to make sure that everything's running smoothly on top of the site directors that are there as well. So if you see anybody out there in one of our league shirts, flag them down, say hello, and feel free to ask any questions you got, stuff like that. Cool. So, all right. Well, if there's no other questions, you guys can. If something comes up later, D.
One thing I didn't say, so from the 14 U division and the All-Stars pretty much where they got picked, AYF has a national All-Star game. This will be our 17th annual coming up this year. And it's in conjunction with the NFL Pro Bowl. So I haven't got the players that were named from the Arizona YFL organization, but last year we had 6 kids that got named to it, but it's a game that's in conjunction with the Pro Bowl. They play Saturday. Kids go to the Pro Bowl, we go to the Pro Bowl practice. So we'll see what names get announced, and you guys can announce that. But that's another.
So for those of you at home, what Dee was talking about was that the kids from the All-Star game also can get chosen for the national team that gets played in conjunction with the NFL Pro Bowl. That announcement should be coming out this week. It'll be out this week. So yeah, we'll definitely make sure that that's out there as well. So,
Coach, did you have a question? Cobra's coach? I thought I saw
Marvin, you good?
Okay.
We were just talking about your divisions.
Gotcha. Scott.
Your site directors also fill out a post-game or a post-day report.
Yep.
Could you maybe highlight 6 or 8 of the things that you're getting the feedback from that
Sure.
can help our organizations be better on game day?
So the question was the site director's report. Can we highlight, what they do? So it looks a lot like the coach's report. It's also got the score in it. This is a score that officially gets put into the system. So quite often, extra points get missed and things like that. So when you're at the end of your game after your handshake, please confirm with your officials the score of the game, because sometimes we miss a PAT.
Hey, Derek, can you comment on that too, please, real quick? With
What's
the
that?
score? Does it matter if it's 60-0 or 6-0? It matters if you won?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, the mercy rule score, that's another thing too. We get this all the time where coaches will send in, hey, we won 50-0, not 35-0. Well, in the mercy rules, you can't win by more than a 35-point differential. That's when the game's in a running clock. So if you're the coach that's on the winning side of that, you're up by 4 touchdowns, it's time to open up the bench and clear it out, because once that clock starts running, the game's going to end pretty quick. So, but a team can't have more than a 35-point differential. Also, JC mentioned the PowerPoint system. Again, the PowerPoints are awarded based on your wins, your opponent's wins, and your opponent's wins. Strength of victory or margin of victory is not a factor. So it's really about wins and losses. So if there's no benefit to running up the score against another team. So I think that was it. But to Scott's question, the things that can be cleaned up. I can open my spreadsheet. It's got about 1,000 lines on it. It processes our ejection report goes on there as well. So if a player or coach is ejected from a game, they're suspended the following week. So that goes there. We then immediately, we review it. We tell the org leader if there's any sort of discrepancy that was there, then at that time we deal with it. This is, JC was talking about how busy we get to be on Sundays, Mondays. And then the coaches or the organization is made aware of the upcoming suspension, and then that's relayed to the field the next week. So that's probably the biggest things. The biggest things you see, too many people on the sideline, coaches not helping them out, getting their parents out of the way. It's usually things like, it's almost
Crazy
always,
music
yeah.
sometimes.
And it says it right in the rules, like if your teams are playing music before the game, just play the clean version of the playlist. And most of the times, grandma in the stands, it didn't come to hear that kind of thing, so keep that in mind. So I think most of the stuff we're going to see is behavioralized. So,
When we fill out that paper for the division,
Yep.
1, 2, and 3, there's 3 the worst and 1's the best, or vice versa?
Yeah, so so there would be, 1 would be the most experienced. So this is one of the functions of youth football, getting away from weight, because weight is not a determinant of safety. The number 1 determinant is experience, right? If you give me 3 kids that are 125 pounds and they've been playing, 5 years of football together, they're going to be more dangerous than 3 kids weighing 250 pounds, right? So that's the number 1 thing. So if you can see, it's kind of the brief definitions, but ultimately this is where we start. The team's results will dictate the schedule. So, if teams say, hey, our team's new to tackle football, we're a D3 team, but your first couple of games, you're mercy ruling the other teams, well, then maybe your kids fresh out of flag know how to play. So that's just kind of the factor.
Let me touch on something real
Sure.
quick too. So, like Darren said, we're going to start working on the schedule halfway through February. We're going to put out a running 3-week schedule. So it's not going to be a full schedule for the whole year. Reason for that, we don't know where teams are. When you get 29 or 30 teams in a division, it's very hard to know, well, okay, is this one going to be good or is it not going to be good? So we'll do 3 weeks, and then after that, it'll be week by week. So you have 3 weeks, and then once we finish week 1, then we'll put out week 4. But what we're looking for is, like Darren said, how the game's finished, competition. Is this going to be a good matchup to put together? And then we use that D1, D2, D3 to look at it as well. So just so you're aware, it's 3 weeks at a time, and we are pretty consistent on the rolling 3 weeks. So you have it's not going to be week to week, except when we get to first round of playoffs. You'll know
I got one here first.
right when that week ends who you're going to be playing the next week, 1 week before.
So say, for example, if the coach weren't going to do their due diligence and fill that out, are you guys just going to base it off of their previous season standings, like how it ended the season?
Yeah, we'll do the best guess.
Okay.
We'll just do kind of the best guess, and again, that's part of it too. A team that the question was, how do we do it if we don't have the form? A team that's coming off, a championship isn't going to be like, oh, we're D3 or whatever. That's another football league in town that plays that game. They change the coach's name and say, hey, we're new, but it's all the same players. We don't do that.
The other thing we look at too is a lot of orgs want to play their town rival. It's like, hey, we're the Falcons, we want to play the Storm, and we want to play the Outlaws, and we want to play the Anthem Jags, say. So if you guys are giving us, hey, these are the teams we want to play up front, we can work with those matchups.
That's this line right here, opponent request.
But we do spend a significant amount of time talking to org leaders. I know I do, Rebecca, even Dyron, that we actually call org leaders and we're talking to them about their teams, like, hey, what about this or what about that? So it's not just a dart on the board if we don't know. We're going to do a little bit of investigation. Because again, at the end of the day, it's all about experience. So we want to be able to put a competitive matchup that's good for the coaches, good for the players, and the parents come out and enjoy it. So
I don't know where this question is, but say they do their diligence like she's mentioning, and throughout the season, do you evaluate, for instance, a D2 team that has claimed to be D2, but he's better than D2, and you bump him up to D1, and vice versa? If you have a D1 team and it's not going so great, it will fall back into D2. Is that a thing, or is just?
It is, and ultimately, so there's the reason. So the question was, do we change teams and divisions before that? So the divisions aren't really locked in until we start doing playoff seeding, which is like around week 6. So this is just kind of an intake form of like, where do you start? Because we don't want to put a team that's, fresh out of flag against, the reigning champion from the fall, right? That's not fair for you. It's not fun for either team. And I'm sure you coaches feel the same way. I've been on both sides of a mercy rule, and neither one's fun, right? I didn't go to practice all week long just to score 5 touchdowns, and I'm back in my car in 30 minutes. That's not fun, right? We want to play. We want to get reps. We want to get the players better. So it's really to have parity, but ultimately it's that team's result. So if a team says, hey, we're D2, and they mercy rule teams the first 2 weeks of the season, we're like, yeah, you may think you're D2, but maybe you're more D1. And it doesn't mean that like you're kind of etched in stone. And then like JC was saying, the disparity between teams, if we had like a 12-team division, then we go to make the playoffs. Well, if the difference between Team 6 and Team 7 is pretty big, then maybe it makes more sense to have 2 playoff brackets for that. That's really how we use those classifications. Or maybe, this will never happen, but let's say all 12 teams are 500, right? Well, maybe then they should be in a playoff bracket together. But usually there's kind of the newer teams and the more experienced teams. It's just a way to find fair games. Ultimately, results dictate everything.
And two, when you get down to it, there's a lot of nuances from, hey, I'm a coach and I coach 3 teams and I need them back to back and I need time here to go there. So me personally, call me crazy. I enjoy it. I love it. It's like a puzzle piece to me. How am I going to make this work, to get this coach here, over here, and do this? So there's definitely a lot of thought that goes into it, research, looking at scores, looking at teams, talking to the org leaders that may have talked to their coaches. So again, at the end of the day, it's the experience and, trying to put together the most competitive matchup.
When is the last day our team can register individually? Or?
So you can add players up until the end of March. That's the add drop deadline. It's after week 4 of the season.
Okay.
So if a kid comes, I've been there too as a coach, right? You're already 3 weeks in the season, some kid struggling in, you can still take them until then.
Okay.
But that the rosters will lock after the 4th week. Yep. So, but obviously it helps your team to get the kids out there as fast as possible.
And then ideally, we want everybody registered and paid by the middle of February, because what we don't want to happen is like a org leader's like, oh yeah, I've got 4 teams, I'm in, and then we have to chase you when the season starts to get paid. So, get the registration in. So let's make sure that we tell our teams we need to be paid by the middle of February in order to get on the schedule. Because if it's not, then we just can't put you on the schedule until that happens.
Yeah, or 8U and 9U merge or something like that. That always turns into a follow as well. So, all right, that's it for questions. We got one more. Yes.
So the cost will that go up per fall, or are you guys going to keep the same cost?
We hope to keep it the same for 2025. So we've got there's an increase in referees fees, and that's a big part of the price increase for
cheer
fall to spring.
also?
No, cheer's going to probably stay the same. I don't see cheer changing.
How much is your registration for spring then, Darren?
$169 a player, with the team rate being capped out at 24 players. So the 24 player rate is the maximum that we charge.
What's the fall cost?
It's going to be the same, $169 a player, and the team fee is basically $4,000, $3,999, which equals 23.6 players. The team minimum is 16 players, so.
And cheer's $50.
The cheer's $50, yeah.
It's $50?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to reevaluate that as well.
But,
Okay.
But I have a quick question, because I'm just reading through some of your stuff. So this year we started a 6U program. And so what I'm doing is, I have my 6U players have a big brother in their organization. So their big brother, we have them wearing their same number, because they'll never cross-reference. 6U is never going to play 11U or 12U. So with that being said, one of your rules says no duplicate numbers. Is that within the league or just within that team?
That's on the field on game day.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, that's the question was regarding duplicate numbers. It means on the field at the same time. What's being reevaluated was that it was listed in the rules as more of a best practice, but coaches, we've got to meet with the officials, is that do we do like they do in the NCAA where we call a penalty on that? Do we have an alternate jersey for the punter or whoever, the kick returner that might be on the same field? Historically, what we've done, it's been an error, and we've just told coaches if they can't, if the officials can't, the officials are usually fine with it, but if the other team wants to, or we tell most coaches, get some athletic tape, 24 is now 28, right? We'll do that. 11, 1's now 11, something like that, so it can clear things up, but that's it. So that's it for questions. I have one more introduction I'd like to make. Dan?
Yeah.
So everybody, this is, what's up, man? How
Good to
are
see
you?
you,
Sorry,
yeah.
sneaking back there.
Yeah,
Remember, this is Dan Newhart he's from the Fiesta Bowl committee, and all these great games were all his doing. He had nothing to do with the Orange Bowl other than being a Penn State alum. Who was he throwing that ball to?
I went out for it. I'm just not happy. Yeah.
So for Dan's our guy that got us a great deal on the Rate Bowl tickets. We're going to do more with youth and them going forward in Eastern contact here.
Yeah, thank you guys for all your help and everything that you guys do, and that Noah on the team as well. I think he was down here a little bit earlier, but gotta give them all the credit. And going forward, any ideas you guys have, for us for that game, it's really about giving the kids an experience. So we experimented this year, the pregame parade on the field. We got a few teams out there for that. How can we get that to grow? Have some kids out there for the national anthem. Since we play in a baseball stadium, we do some kind of goofy things to play off a baseball with, a play ball kid, or take me out to the Rate Bowl, not the ball game, singing that for the crowd. So always open for ideas and different ways to just get the kids engaged and a chance to come to a postseason football game. So appreciate all you guys' help.
Thanks. Thanks for your hospitality, having us here.
Yeah, anytime, of course.
All right, well, that's it. Thanks. All right, for those of you at home, we'll see you later. For those of you guys that are here, we're going to head over to Hand Cut, which is a couple of doors down. And if I can buy you a beer or another beverage, I'd love to. So we'll see you all over there. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate you guys coming.